Yes, hold the applause, ladies and germs. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wow, you got George.
My cat's name is George.
George the cat.
There's only room for one of us in this.
He's cute. I'm sure there are cat people out there.
Yeah, look at this. This is a cutie.
Yeah.
He's about 14 years old.
Really?
Like a kitten.
Yeah. I mean, I love cats. I don't particularly like them. I don't want to own one, but I think they're kind of cool. Does any of you guys have any cat people out there? Any cat owners?
You know, it's interesting. I was always a dog guy. I had dogs. I was not a cat guy. Same thing. I mean, I loved animals. And then one day I got a cat by happenstance, and then I fell in love with him. Look at him. He's so sweet. He hangs out with me.
Gabe's a cat guy. Okay, yeah. Gabe. What kind of cat do you have? What kind of cat is that, Mark?
I forget what they're called. They're like calico or something.
Is that the cat you found on a movie set?
Yes, this one I found in Ohio, abandoned as a small cat. He's less than a year old, and came up to the crew, and the people who own the home were shooting in this big house up in the hills, and they said, "Yeah, it's not ours. It's been abandoned. We don't feed it, and I think I'm going to catch it and take it to the pound." And my lead actress, Anna Lynn McCord, is a cat lover, and she says, "We're taking the cat."
Yeah, Pamela is saying it's a calico. His is a calico, or you have a calico. What's that joke? Cats are always looking for a way to kill you.
Yeah, or leave the house.
Mark, we left out a couple important points on that story. 3 points.
Well, I was just going to say real quick. So what happened is she was going to take the cat. She had brought her cat to the set, and she said, "Keep it in your apartment." We had apartments. We were on location. So I then said, "I want to drive back because I hate flying." So I got this big SUV, and I said, "I'll take the cat back to give it to Anna Lynn." And she'd probably love to see it now. That was 10 years ago. And I said,
"No, but you didn't give it to her. You kept it."
No, I was supposed to give it to her. I was going to bring it, but it stayed in my apartment for the last week of filming. And then I drove across country, me and the cat, for 3 days. And I fell in love with it. And I got back to the house, and I called her up, or we talked, and she goes, "You're not giving me the cat back, are you?" And I go, "No, I'm keeping it."
He looks very healthy. He looks like a
but it also got a credit on the movie. There's this credit for the cat on the movie, isn't
it?
Yeah,
we do Ohio Cat George. You know what? I fell in love with this cat. I had my JoJo, my black and white, who sadly passed away a few months ago, but they became best friends, and I've had him. I guess I got him in 13. So what is he, 10,
11 years old, maybe, depending on how much older he is. Wow. Very cool. He's a pretty cat. I know you just lost a cat. Sorry.
Yeah, he's been sad too, but
but that's what it is. But anyway, all right, get rid of the cat. Throw the cat.
Okay, we're done with the cat.
Throw the cat out the window.
No.
So I am real quick. I just got back from Rhode Island. Anybody been to Rhode Island? I know Georgia.
Yes, I went to Hasbro, Nantucket.
My daughters went to school there.
Yeah, I was in Rhode Island.
Anybody there from Rhode Island or anywhere close around there? Does it get really cold?
Yeah,
my daughter's going to go to school up in Rhode Island, so I'm just trying for college, which is not yet about a year or so, a year or two from now. But anyway, thanks for having us. Are you really on, Diane Giamona? Diane. Oh, my mill is from Providence. What's a mill? My mill?
Mother-in-law.
Well, mother-in-law. Got it. Well, I want to, sometimes some things pop up on the internet, and because I'm not on it all that much. My wife is on it a bit. Not that much either. But sometimes you come across something, and somebody made a video of me. And I thought it was actually a pretty cool video. And what I wanted to do tonight, among other things, if we get to it. Yes, thank you, David Elaine. Yeah, thank you. Congratulations to my daughter. I appreciate that. She's very excited. We went to the up when we were up in Providence. We went to what is it? The Newport, where the I just Vanderbilt, where the Vanderbilt mansions are. We did all that. And if you haven't done it yet, and if you're going up in the Northeast, I highly recommend it to see what the Vanderbilts, who owned railroads and oil, amazing homes, amazing, ridiculous, 100,000 square foot home, and on. Anyway, sorry, somebody made this video. See, I did a Trump thing there. I did like I went out and I went back around, and I came right back to the subject I was talking about.
You're very good at that.
Thank you very much. So I want to show this video. It's about a minute, and then we'll talk about the video. You guys, if you have any questions, I know Mark and George might have some questions. I actually, I've seen it, and some of the things on it, I have to kind of remember what it was, but we'll figure it out. So George, if you're ready to fire that up, or you're not ready to fire that up.
No, hold on. I got it. I didn't get a chance to practice this, but I think I got it.
Oh.
Hold on. Boom. Boom.
Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman. Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, never, forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever young. Some are like water, some are like the beat. Some are a melody and some are the beat. Sooner or later they all will be gone. Why don't they stay young?
I think that's
That's great, Scott. I got to ask you, how much money did they spend on all those different wigs?
Oh, and the sweaters. Don't forget the sweaters.
No, but the hair. You're the only guy I know. Your hair. You always had hair.
I always had a head of hair, knock wood. But all right. So now, okay. So this first photo from 1976, I think it's from an after school special I did called Luke Was There. It was right after Bugsy Malone, which was in like 75-ish or maybe a little early, but this was right after that. And Bugsy Malone hadn't been out yet, I think. I think it came out this year. But this was an after school special about a runaway kid. And I shot it in Manhattan. And what God was the director's name? Richard Marquand. Nice man. It was about a runaway kid and being in a foster home. His mother dies, I think, goes in the hospital. And it was you think back on that kind of stuff, and it just seems like a million years ago. It was a million years ago, but you own that movie, Darlene? You're kidding. Wow. That's amazing. Okay, so that was 76. And if you see my ears, you can see that they're fairly large. And I've grown into them through the years. But if you look at look at the face, and if you get a picture of my daughter,
I'm just going to say that
it's very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar face with my child.
Those ears were not prosthetics that the makeup department did. Those were actually your ears.
Those were not the Darren Stevens ears from Bewitched. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
First, yes.
I'm disappointed in everybody. Okay, go to the next photo, George. Anybody have any comments? Okay. Is it on VHS, John? Oh, man. It's probably on. It's so old. It's probably on stone, and they chopped it into stone.
What's this one, Scott? This is Love Boat. Oh, really?
With Christy McNichol.
With Christy McNichol and Hermione Badley. And we talked about this a little bit, who was in one of the original Christmas carols, played my aunt. And this was my first on-screen kiss. We actually went on a cruise to Mexico on the Pacific Princess for 6 or 7 days. And it was kind of fun, but I got to hang out with Christy, whom I adore.
The first screen kiss was not the director; it was Christy.
Yes, Mark, it was Christy.
Trying to bring some humor into it.
That. I don't get the humor, but thank you very much. Your daughter is your twin. Yeah, we kind of look alike. She's got much lighter hair than I, and you can see there that I learned to cover my ears because they were large, and that's
Were? What about what's this were?
The earlobes. I'm having a problem with the earlobes, but that cross on my neck, I still have it. All right, that's about right. 77. Go to the next one, George. Oh, that's still the Love Boat, where I'm kind of freaking out because I have a crush on Christy, and every time I see her, I get embarrassed, and I go into this weird character. You remember being a Dr. Pepper commercial?
Oh yeah.
My daughter makes fun of that commercial all the time because she's
It's on YouTube. We pulled it up once, all of us.
You showed it here?
No, we pulled it up at the cigar lounge, and I remembered that commercial. Seeing that commercial, I didn't know.
With me?
Yeah, well, you're singing and dancing in a restaurant or in a dining room.
Wow, yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah. Who's two gorgeous Italian men, Tony and Scott? Who's the Tony Danza? Is that who you're talking about? I know Tony. Tony's a good guy. Anyway, okay, go next, George. 77, Love Boat, same thing. This is 78. So what I'm thinking this is, Mark, is you'll appreciate this. I think this is Fantasy Island Junior. Do you remember that?
A separate show?
It was a separate show.
Wow, no.
And my cousin James and I played brothers in it, and we played a rock and roll band, and I can't remember what the story was, but we were breaking up or something, and somebody was taken away from us or whatever. We got back together. In the end, the great Ricardo Montalban, came and saved the day, and I got to hang out with Hervé Villachez a little bit.
Wow.
They were in it too.
Who liked wine. He wasn't drunk, but he liked wine. He was a sweet guy, and he's gone, and so is Ricardo. But we shot this in Malibu. You know what, George? I bet we shot this at Dick Clark's house.
I think you're right. That's his office, actually. But I thought that too, because all the plants in the front. I
think we did. I think we shot that on his property because it was overlooking the ocean, this big bluff. And at the end of the show, we got taken up in a balloon.
Wow.
10 feet. And then they cut. But that was what that was. I think the jacket is velvet. I like the collar out like disco.
You still have that jacket, right?
I wear it every Saturday night with the shirt just like that.
I was going to say, yeah.
At this time, you were doing Who's Watching the Kids and Happy Days at the same time. So this is not from either of those. This is the third project the same year, right?
Yeah, this was like a 1 week, probably during a week off, a hiatus week. But wow, that was, what'd you say? Who's Watching the Kids and Happy Days?
That was, they were both 78, weren't they? And that's when you
could be, George.
Gary Marshall kind of talked to your dad, and he talked to you going, get your ego down.
Yep. I had an ego problem doing two shows at the same time. Yeah, it's probably right. Good point, George. Thanks for that. But that happens. Anyway, go to the next one, George. Oh, I think, and I've been looking at this one. I want to say that's Skate Town, USA.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is. With Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze was in that.
Was it Marie McCormick?
Marie McCormick.
Yeah.
Somebody just watched me on Diagnosis Murder. Thanks, Roseanne. But we shot that. You know the story. I don't know if you guys know the story, but you guys know the story. I was doing Happy Days, and they offered me to do the movie, and I turned it down like 4 or 5 times. They just kept offering more money, and I was finally said, okay. I worked on it a week, and we worked at the Palladium on Hollywood Boulevard.
Is Is that the picture where the camera and the dolly fell into the water off a pier? You remember that story
Yes.
you told me?
Yes.
You said that the whole I mean, these are like
Yes.
$300,000 camera, and it started to roll.
Yes.
with,
Yes.
with the crane, and
First of all, I've never seen this movie. I've never seen it. I think it's, and sorry to the people who worked on maybe one of the worst films ever made. And I'm proud to say that. Gives me another notch on my belt about something.
John makes a good
Swayze
point.
didn't turn it down, you shouldn't either. If Swayze didn't turn it down, you shouldn't either. So the story Mark was talking about was we were shooting nights on the Santa Monica Pier, and the pier kind of goes, there's like the street here, and then it goes down, and it goes to the pier, and it goes to the water. And I was sitting up on a wall here, and the camera dolly was here with the camera on it, and there was nobody manning the dolly, and I'm looking at the dolly, and it goes click, click, and I'm looking around. I'm going, does anybody click, 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 and the thing just took off down the ramp, stuff like a cartoon, stuff bouncing off of it, guys chasing after it, and it hit the railing, and the camera broke off, went right into the ocean. Anyway,
and you had shot the film, right?
Mark, that I don't remember exactly, but it was just it's a disaster. All right, go, George. Okay, that's easy. That's Fox's.
That's what I thought.
With Jodie Foster, Randy Quaid, Sally Kellerman. Shot that. By the way, thank you, Marie Spinella. Thank you. Congrats on my daughter. I appreciate it. That movie was directed by Adrian Lyne, who did Fatal Attraction and a bunch of other big movies. But it was a story about teenagers in the San Fernando Valley back in the late 70s. And it was a really good movie. I mean, heavy duty, serious movie making, serious movie about teenagers and drugs and rock and roll and all that. And had a really good time making that movie. I didn't get to work with Randy Quaid. He was a separate story, but it was big movie making. It was big time stuff. I'll tell you a quick story. Yeah. We worked in a house in the Hollywood Hills, and it was a party, and they were supposed to redress the house for like a complete melee, like a complete crazy breaking stuff kind of party, and tables and everything. And I had a friend of mine who was working at the time. His name was Grant. And they were shooting the scene, but we weren't supposed to do anything. And we were supposed to cut and then redress the set and then start breaking stuff. And I, in fun, threw something at my friend Grant across the room, and people thought that was the scene to fight. And the whole place exploded and started breaking this guy's furniture that lived in the house. And it was just, that wasn't what we were supposed to do. Wow. Anyway, so they had to reimburse the guy for his furniture. And I had a tuxedo shirt. That's right, Brenda. I had a tuxedo shirt, but I knew how to skateboard, but they had a double for me during the stunts where we're coming down the hills in Hollywood. That was fun, man. How about this? I broke my nose on that movie.
Really? How?
Yeah, how'd you break it?
Never fixed it. We were working up in the Hollywood Hills, and you remember the catering trucks has the two doors that go like this?
Yeah.
Right. So it was pouring rain, and one door was closed. One door was about a quarter open, and I went to get some fruit, and I didn't have a spoon. So I went to the guy and said, "Hey, I need a spoon." And he gave me the spoon. I started to run to get back out of the rain, and I ran right into the door, this way. And my brother was with me, and I went, ow. And I sat down. My brother said, "What the hell happened to your face?" And it was my last day. It was my last day on the movie, so and it was shot at night. So anyway, Everybody back in the day talked about that movie. Really? Okay, Nancy. It was. I just hurt myself. Damn it. It was a cool movie. It was a cool movie. But all right, go George.
All right. Boom.
Zapped. The Great Zapped.
The Great Zapped.
That's on. That's at Magic Mountain. Shot on Colossus. Was that the ride? Colossus?
I think so. It was one of their first ones.
I get so many questions about that movie because I guess they want the power to take off girls' clothing with their mind.
Yeah.
And fun movie to make. Fun movie. Man, it was fun. Shot it all over LA. We shot it in Encino, Mark. Shot it right by where you used to live.
Oh, really?
Yep, by Big Ben. The record store on Ventura.
Sure. You got any good stories from Zap? Somebody wants to know.
Some good stories from Zapped. Well, I mean, I just, yeah, I mean, nothing crazy happened on that set, but I got to work with Scatman Crothers, who was just absolutely hilarious. Who directed it? A guy named Bob Rosenthal. He didn't write it, but he directed it, and he was sweet. And he was, I think it was his first film he ever directed. So he was, he was good, but he was a little unsure in the beginning. Then he was great. But all the stuff in that scene was all the stuff in the effects were all practical. They were actually, they had guys on wires holding tubes.
Yeah,
moving stuff around the set, and they were up above us. A guy named Dick Albing was the effects guy. Great movie. All right, I met you at a car show in Providence where your daughter's going. Oh no! What? Oh my God! I've been to Providence. I didn't think about that. All right, George. What's the next one?
Boom. I think this is a record. I think you're on
It's
American Bandstand here. Yeah.
American Bandstand.
When you said you wanted to direct, remember when Dick goes, "What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
Someday I'd like to direct.
Was that the only jacket where the sleeves were rolled up?
Exactly right.
I remember seeing that.
But what bad sort of a bad what's the word I'm looking for? You go on a singing show and you say I want to direct. But I went on that show. I had an album out, and
well, wait, I got to ask. I got to point out one thing. You got to tell the audience. You ended up as a big director doing dozens and dozens of sitcoms, and you started on Charles in Charge. That's a great story. He never talks about it, but you probably directed more episodes than a lot of directors in television, right?
I don't know.
He's being humble.
Not like the great Rich Carell, who I think has directed over 1,000 episodes of television, but
you did get into it.
I directed about 100 different episodes of television. I did a lot of.
That's a huge amount.
Yeah, I directed Jamie Foxx's show, The Wayans Brothers, some other shows.
Name the show.
Jamie Foxx, The Wayans Brothers, Nick Freno.
Did you do a Lassie?
Shaky Ground. I did a Lassie.
And Harry and the Hendersons.
And Harry and the Hendersons. Wow, thanks, Mark.
Hey.
That
Mark, you his PR guy or something? What the hell?
No, late at night when I'm having a few drinks, I just Google Scott.
Scott, there was from the road show, I remember two things when we would do your one-man show on tour. One was how many people liked Zapped. I was surprised just because it came up so often. But the second one was when we talked about you being a singer. You told a story about going into a restaurant that was had a funny story about a father that approached you. Do you remember that? Is that too far removed from this?
Yes.
Baroni's, I think it was.
It's it's a longer story. I won't do it any justice.
Get into it when the time.
I won't do it anyway. But getting back to this photo, I was with your friend Dick Clark, George.
Yeah.
Right? You knew the guy well, and he was interviewing me. And how exciting was it Everybody wants to. What the hell
Mark,
is that?
shake your window.
Motorcycle?
Is it-
Everybody wants to be a rock and roller, and I got to do it for a little bit. And I was on American Bandstand, and there was the people around you. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I wasn't very good, and I just what the hell. But I mean, that's a cool shot. All right, go to the next one.
All right. Boom.
Yes, okay. That's from '84, so that's probably doing publicity for Charles in Charge. And I don't know why I'm wearing a suit and tie, but that's just doing some interview on some talk show. And the hair is getting shorter because I'm going to play a conservative college student, and not much. I don't know what this. I don't know what the talk show was. It's hard to tell. Who's binging?
I'm sorry.
Mark,
I don't.
please,
I can't deal with all the comments that are coming in, man. I'm trying.
Landscapers are back. I enjoyed your concert at Worlds of Fun, Michelle. What town was that? Wow. Everyone looks great in a suit. I guess that's kind of a compliment. Looks like the 60s there. Oh, the hairdo and yeah, it does kind of. Yeah. Scott and James Baio, love to see him. Charles in Charge was great. You'd love to see them again. I haven't seen my cousin James in forever. You like me with longer hair? It's the leprechaun. All right, this is I 28. So this has got to be Charles in Charge.
88.
It got to be Charles in Charge. And there's a million stories from that show. So what's going next, George? I like the shirt though.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. I got to get more pics. I ran out. Keep
Kansas
talking.
City. Michelle, it was Kansas City, Missouri. Wow. What year do you remember the year, Michelle? Tell me the year. 79? 80? Anyway, go to the next picture, George.
I need 1 minute, man. Michelle,
okay.
keep talking.
Thank you. I keep getting better looking. I agree with you. Thank you. Well, okay, here comes the next one. What is it? George is having technical difficulties. Nancy Sacchetti. Nice. Good name. Mark.
Yeah.
I totally blanked. I was going to ask you. Here we go. There it is. 1989. That is Full House. When I went on and guested, they asked me to come on and play Uncle Jesse's motorcycle friend, and supposedly the highest watched episode of that series. I don't know why that would be, but it was fun. That was a fun show to work on. It was, those two little girls were so young, and I got to work with John and Dave and Bob. And Bob, he's gone. Whatever. But when just nice people. Jeff Franklin was a good guy. The director was, I can't remember. God forgive me. But it was, we got to ride motorcycles and do that kind of stuff. So anyway, that was a fun show. Go, George.
All right.
Two cool Italian guys. Who's the other one? Okay. This is from Perry Mason. I did an episode, like a 2-hour movie of the week of Perry Mason, where I played an attorney, and I got to work with Raymond Burr. Shot it in Colorado. He was the nicest guy. No airs about him. Just came on the set, and you knew when he was there, but because he was the star of the show and he was a legendary guy. Just quiet and nice and no pressure. Sweet guy. I don't know how he's gone a long time now.
Yeah.
He was a big man. He was a big man.
Oh yeah, it was Ironsides was a show I remember him from.
Yep.
Was this the show that Silverman and Hargrove did that got you on to Diagnosis Murder? Was this a Silverman show?
Yeah. Oh wow! I didn't think Mark. I never thought about it that way.
Because you did this before Diagnosis, right?
Yeah, 91. I think I was just, I don't know. In and out of that was a pilot, a series I did called Rewind, which never got to air, which was one of the great ideas ever, in my opinion.
That sounds like a great concept. Yeah.
Great idea. And it just, I don't know what the hell happened to it, but it was, and that's, they shot Diagnosis Murder there in Colorado, and they shot, I think, a show with Tom Bosley where he was a priest in Colorado. And I, but that was fun. That was a fun show to do. Go, George. No clue. Next.
Really?
I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was some interview, it looks like. Oh, I know what that was. That was from the Rewind. That was from the upfronts for Fox when I did the show Rewind. So you know what Rewind was. It was great. And I loved it. I'm sorry I didn't. The show was about two guys grow up together, me and a guy named Maestro Clark, who was a comic. And I loved working with the guy. It was fun. And we work in the corporate world, and every time there's a situation that we have to deal with, we immediately flash back to when we were like 12 and 13 years old. In the 70s with he was black, so he had the big afro. I had the long with the feathered hair and the belt and the thing. And it was how we dealt with it then, how you deal with it now. It was just a great show. So that was from the interview that I did for that show. Unfortunate. I wish that show would have gone. I mean, that was fun.
You know what? You should bring it back.
I should bring it back.
It would still work.
Yeah. The Nanny.
Oh, that's nice.
This is a really funny scene because you come in, you went to school with her.
Right.
And she comes in to see you, and you go, she goes, "Didn't you go to whatever the school is?" And you go, "Yeah, that was the best 7 years of my life."
Right. And I'm a doctor. Right. Yeah. So she comes in to see me, and we bond a little bit. But so, okay. But I did this episode. I don't want to give you all the ins and outs, but a lot of times when you do a sitcom, you'll come in on a Monday and you'll read the script and it'll be crap. It happens a lot. And so they'll let everybody go home and they'll rewrite it and you come back the next day. So I went home and it was around Christmas in 98 and it was pouring rain. And I hate Christmas shopping. I don't like going to the malls, but I had the day off. So I was like, you know what? I might as well get this done. And I went by myself. I just kind of went into the mall, bought this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And I just kind of came home and I go through the door and I'm soaking wet and I got boxes and my phone is ringing and ringing. And finally I said, dang it. I pick up the phone. I go, hello. And I hear my mother crying. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like weeping. And I'm thinking somebody in my family's dead. And I hear her say, he's alive.
Yeah.
And I said, what? Mom, what are you talking about? Anyway, there was a report that I was killed in a car accident. And my brother was driving and heard it on the news, called my mother. And anyway, the short of it was I was reported dead. It was confirmed on the CNN. And turns out I wasn't dead.
Just your career.
Just my career.
I couldn't resist. Go on.
Yes. Thank you. Anyway, so I went out that night and it was all over the news. I mean, it was, and then they thought that, and it was reported that Nicolette Sheridan had died. And the reason that happened is because she and I had dated, and at the time that I was reported dead, around that time, Nicolette Larson, the singer, did pass away. So they confused the name Nicolette. Anyway, so we called each other and we were fine. And so that night, I went out to a restaurant and everybody was looking at me and I was like, hi, I'm okay. not dead. Anyway, that was a very, very weird.
And emotional.
So relax. Float downstream says, that's terrible. Sorry to hear that happened to you. Your poor mom. So here's the thing that I could never understand or comprehend. You're told that your child is dead, and it's confirmed on the news that your child is dead. And for like 45 minutes, and you can't get a hold of your child, and your other son is calling, saying it's confirmed, and on, and then you call your son's house, and he answers the phone. I have no idea how to. I don't know what emotion. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to handle it. So that's what my parents had to deal with.
Then you also mentioned this to us about your mom gave the phone to your dad, and he couldn't even talk to you.
He was so distraught. I was like, "Oh, Dad," he goes, "I can't talk to you, Daddy."
I can't imagine, but
yeah, but it was. But you know what's sad about that is the phone at my parents' house kept ringing off the hook, and my mother was fielding all these calls, and my father walked in the kitchen, and he said, "What the heck is going on?" And my mom said, "Mario, I have to tell you something." He said, "Scott's dead."
Oh, gee.
And I was like, anyway, enough sadness and death. And I was reported dead in the Cayman Islands about 7-8 years ago in an accident.
Really?
In a jet ski accident, but didn't die. I think this is from a movie called Face Value that I shot, around that time, 2002. And I don't have any stories about it, George. I really don't.
Make one up. Nobody will know here. Hold on.
I have no move. That's a crazy story, right? Their own. That's a crazy story. 2000.
Is that Arrested Development, maybe?
I don't know what that is. So I have to tell you guys something. You think this is crazy that I don't know what things are. Very rarely I'll go on my computer at night and I'll put my name in and I'll see what videos pop up or whatever. And every once in a while I'll see a show and I'll go, I have no idea what that show is. I don't remember doing it. Like I'll give you an example. I pulled up something and a scene with Robert Reed from the Brady Bunch came up.
Wow.
And the show was called The Runaways or Runaway. And I'm watching the scene. It's me and him, and I don't remember doing it.
Wow.
It's, I guess, God was good to me, and I did a lot of stuff, and some of it I just don't remember. I don't know what that was from 45. Oh, maybe that's 45 and single.
Maybe
that's what that is. Anyway, all right. What's next? Come on, we're getting going. Don't know.
Really?
Okay.
I look good. I look damn good.
Yeah.
Could it be Arrested
Development? Except for the ears.
No, the ears look good in that picture. You know what? Happening? Yeah, let me tell you what's happening to me. Because I'm getting older, my face is getting thinner. You know how old men get thin?
Yeah.
So my ears are looking bigger. So I'm trying to gain weight to fatten out my face. I think that's the remedy.
There you go.
Right. Go next, George.
Next.
Who's rushing me?
We are.
Oh, that's from 46 and pregnant. I think that's what that is. I don't know. Go. Let's find an interesting one. I don't know what those are.
Hold on. Boom. Bang.
Anyway, go to. I think we're kind of. Anyway, all right. We could be done with this. It's 2009.
Did they put C-Dad Run up there? You had your last show. You had a 3-year run on C-Dad.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in there. I don't think that's.
I don't think
C-Dad
anyway. Runs in here.
All right.
Bob Loblaw. They didn't mention Bob Loblaw. Thanks, Brenda. Thank you very much. You look fantastic the way you are. No worries. I know that. Damn it.
Are we done with this?
Let's go to the next one. Let's just see what it is.
All right, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm looking for 2011 here. Hold on.
Dead air, George. Dead air.
Okay.
Dead air.
I'm not in the union, man. Come on.
I don't know. All right. It's just random pictures. That's probably, it could be the ears, could be right. But you see, my ears look small in that photo, right?
Yeah.
Look like my dad in that photo. All right, onward. Let's go to the next subject, everybody. We beat that one up. That was kind of
Hold on.
Thanks for bearing with us. So I'd like to talk to people about something. You love See Dead Run. Thanks, Colleen. That was fun. That was a fun show to do. I really enjoyed See Dead Run on Nickelodeon. But I don't know whatever. I had a.
You shot it in the same studio at Paramount as Happy Days.
I did the same set. Same sound stage,
Like
same
30,
sound.
40 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, just about. Wow. Dang it. So I went to an event. Let's talk. I went to an event a while back, and it was a lot of high-end people that were, and it does whatever. And I've been noticing, and please, I want people to, this is men and women, not you people, other people. There comes a point in time where you have to stop with the plastic surgery. You got to stop because it's not even close. And I went to this event, and it's almost shocking the lengths that older people will go to stay young. And I think to myself, you're gonna get old, and you can't. What'd you say?
Are you reading it?
And the Botox, yes, the Botox, Judy, and the fillers, and the men do the same thing in the lips.
Oh, I hate the lips.
And all of a sudden, everybody starts to look like each other. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I'm a little shocked that it just doesn't seem to stop. I mean, there are people that are unrecognizable. I've met people, and a couple of years later, I've seen them. I have no idea who they are, no idea, and I just think it's unfortunate. Yes, enough, Mark. It's time to stop.
What are they saying?
Yes, Mark. It's enough. It's time to stop.
Wow. Hey guys, I have a bad doctor if this is face work. No, but I can understand little things, like if you got a bump in your nose, like nose jobs, but
Yes.
that's when you're younger. But I mean, I can kind of understand a little Botox for women.
Go ahead. What?
Yeah, I'm saying if you got wrinkles, maybe a Botox for women, as long as it's not overdone. I mean, the puffy lips, that nobody had lips like that. I don't like that at all. But I can kind of understand. But the problem is when you really get old, like me. No, but when you get in like 80 years old and they're still trying to do the face, it's like you're 83 years old and you're a nice old lady. You're not going to ever pretend, or no one's going to think you're in your 30s or 40s. So I think it can be overdone.
Yeah, and then you see a woman or a guy, older guy, and just natural. And I saw a woman, she had gray hair, like white gray hair. She looked fantastic. And she might have done it smart, but she, wrinkles and old a little bit, but she was stunning. And I thought, okay, that's kind of the way to do it. But anyway, I mean, I think there's this fascination. And look, I don't want to get older, but there's this fascination with trying to look young. And I just, and the tons of makeup. And I just wonder if they go home at night and go, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm so tired from, my face being this. And it just seems to be a little bit too much. Anyway.
I also think it's easier for men because, like if you look at Johnny Carson when he was young, and then you look at him when he was older, I think he looked better. I think men can have more wrinkles and it sort of works. And I think when women, I can understand where, that they might have a tougher time.
Yeah.
Men sort of You know,
Well,
we can look
somebody-
bad when we get
No,
old.
yeah, absolutely. Somebody mentioned Tim Allen did a movie where he was Botox. I remember seeing it. It was hilarious. Anyway, okay. That I just wanted to rant on that for a minute, only because I think women are naturally beautiful as they are, and that's just my opinion. And do what you want to do. Not that you're going to listen to me anyway, but you know, it's when it just becomes like you can't drink. I think you had enough.
That's why I never got anything done.
Yeah,
To be able to drink.
100%. Okay, so people do it to feel wanted. Botox is poison. Yeah, Botox is botulism, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
So do a movie about a guy who gets too much plastic surgery. Okay.
What are those bells? Are you guys hearing it? Those dings?
That's not you?
It's
No.
on my end. I can't stop it.
Oh, okay, no, I just want to know where it's coming from. It's not all me.
I thought I was like having a seizure or something. Dang it.
Those are people writing in saying how much they love me, and I can't stop it. So sorry.
What'd you say, George?
I don't know.
No, repeat it. It must be hysterical.
I said those are alerts that when people write in saying how much they love me, I can't.
Oh,
turn
right.
Okay. George, don't make any more jokes for the rest of the podcast.
Every time a bill rings, someone gets Botox.
Oh, that's funny. Mine are coming up.
It's on his notifications. Thank you, Judy Rudd. I appreciate that. Next, you know what I miss almost more than anything in life. I miss talking to a person
Yeah.
when I call a company or a hotel. Will Marion Ross come on the podcast? That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Marion Ross. That's a great idea. I will ask her. But when the other day, I tried to, my wife booked a hotel for me. I have to go out of town. But she booked it in her name because she has points and all that. So you have to put my name on the room as well, or else there's an issue at the hotel, whatever. So she books the room for me. God bless her. And now I have to call the hotel and get my name on the room. I made 6 phone calls to talk to somebody at the hotel. 6.
Wow.
And I'm a crazy person. I get a guy on the phone, and I think it's an AI guy. And he says, I have to give you a code. Or no, I have to give you a phone number for you to call the reservations department to put a name on the room. So the guy gives me the number, and he said it so quick. I said, I didn't get it. Can you say it again? And the phone goes silent. I said, can you give it to me again, please? Silent. It was an AI. Comes back on, the same exact tone, the same mark as AI. Anyway, so it took me about 30 minutes to get somebody on the phone. And I finally get a guy at the hotel on the phone, and here's what he says to me. He said, yes, can I help you? Yes, I just want to put my name. It's under this. Here's the reservation number. Here's my wife's name, and blah, 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 blah. I need to add my name to the reservation. He says, I have to go to the reservations department. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. You believe this?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm sitting there like a schmuck, waiting for this guy to call me back. Calls me back, and he says, hi, you want to put your name on the room? I go, yes. Now my wife loses her mind, takes the phone, and says, yes, this is me. I am Renee. You have me on the phone. I'm verifying that it's me. Please put my name, my husband's name, on the room. What's his name? Give the name. And bang, she hangs up the phone. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, and I get, no matter where you call, it's
Well, I had something happen. I had to renew my registration. So I go online.gov to just do my car registration. And I used to be able to do it, they even had my stuff already on it. And I go to renew it. And I'm going to the checkout and they said, this application can't work. And it's never happened. So they gave me a number to call. So I called the number and it was an AI voice activated. So I spoke very clearly. They said, what is your license number? 567-163. And the guy repeated it, 1. And then I hit it again. It's wrong. He goes, repeat, 163. As clear as I can be. Then he goes, 16. And the third time I said 163. He just said 16. And they said, I'm sorry, it can't continue. And it was like, it doesn't work sometimes. And I was so clear, and I'm going, and I had registered my car. I had to go to AAA in person to register my car because I couldn't do it over the phone. And I've done it since I can remember. It doesn't work. Now, sometimes it does, but when it doesn't work, it's so frustrating and you have to call back. And it's just, so yeah. In the old days, you got somebody and they could work it out.
Yeah,
so
it's very, very, very frustrating. And unfortunately, nothing is easy anymore. Nothing. You can't do anything without jumping through hoops and making a bunch of phone calls. I mean, try to call a hotel. Try to just call the hotel. Try to call the front desk at a hotel. It's impossible.
What I hate is when you call the location and they transfer you to the 800 number.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I go, I want to talk to the one in Cleveland.
At the desk, they can do amazing things if you get a person. They can give you a room. They can do, when you go to the 800, like, you know what they do? We used to go to this restaurant and what's called Open Table. And they say, make a reservation through Open Table. It always gets screwed up. And I happen to know the owner, it's Monty. So I called Michael. I said, Michael, I want a reservation for 4 at 8 o'clock. He goes, you got it. I said, what's with this Open Table? Because I know we got to be on it and people do it. And I heard so many stories. You show up, they don't have your table, they don't have your registration. You got to talk to a human. They get it done. So
and a lot of times when you talk to a human, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But you have a person. But I can, if I have the person at the front desk, I can say, hey, I'm coming in. Here's the reservation number. Here's my wife. Talk to my wife. When I show up, I'll show you my driver's license. But you can't get there. You just cannot. You cannot get there. It's incredible.
Yeah. So I will say, what works really good? My Bank of America. When I call up and it's all voice thing to do stuff, and I once got some limit raised on my ATM card, and I did it all through voice and AI, and it was handled. So sometimes it works, but
I'm sort of frustrated by it all. And anyway,
yeah.
Anybody have a topic? I got one more topic in my quiver.
Okay.
And we asked you guys we asked you guys, damn it, like I'm a school teacher. If anybody has any ideas that they want us to talk about, just send us an email. I think George
TakeOnLifePodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to talk about. Well, not the last thing. We'll see what happens. Maybe somebody will throw something at us. Pronouns. No, I think we're done with pronouns.
Well, I think it's going away. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Robots at the Nissan plant. They have robots. They're going to have. Musk is going to have robots soon, isn't he?
Oh, I've seen it. In your house for like $25,000, and they can get you beer from the refrigerator. They can do. I think that's going to be the future. I really do.
Would you be comfortable with that?
Well, not really. I'm not comfortable in a self-driving car at all.
That's different. That's different.
Well, a robot. What if it goes?
Hang on, George. George, repeat the email.
What's that? Repeat the email. It's on the bottom. It scrolls.
It's right there.
Take on life
podcast at gmail.com.
I worry about the robot. Like if your robot sees your cat and wants to pick it up, but it crushes it because it doesn't know. I would never be comfortable leaving a mechanical thing alone in my house? What if it decides to pull a pipe out of the wall and flood your house? I don't know. Maybe 30 years from now, 50 years from now, they'll perfect it, 100. But it's kind of scary to have non-sentient, is that the word, where they don't have souls? It's just mechanical and it's programmed. And how many times does your computer screw up? Or, so who knows what could happen?
Mark, you're funny. You always, any example on anything, murder, an operation, anything. He goes, what if your cat, and he brings the cat into the
only thing in my life is
what if the robot smokes all your cigars?
There you go. Or he can go buy me some.
Well, don't they have self-driving trucks in Texas now?
I think they have experimental ones, and they may have ones they actually use.
But the weird thing is, I don't know. Look, I guess you kind of get used to anything, right? You can get used to anything. We got used to you, Mark. Yeah, we get used to anything.
I'm AI.
I don't know if I could go to bed with a robot in my house.
Unless she was very pretty.
Oh my God! What if it was a cat robot, Mark?
There you go. Oh, well, they have those in Japan.
What if it was a pretty robot? They have those.
You're a joke. It's your girlfriend.
No, but they have those, by the way.
I know. That's going to be. They said that's actually screwing up society.
My daughters bring me beer.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean,
go power up or go power down, and wake me up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, didn't we think computers would also have so many issues? And now everybody has them and they work pretty good. So I think, like anything, the young kids will get used to it. Like they don't carry cash, they use everything. So society, we're going to be old guys that are going to be pushed out. But so we go old school. I guess it can be a benefit, but just because we can do it, it doesn't mean society.
It's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. And does anybody remember the movie with Robin Williams where he played a robot?
Yes, Millennial Man or Bicentennial Man. Bicentennial Man. I think.
You're right.
That's actually kind of an interesting movie. You didn't like it?
I thought it was ridiculous.
It's one of those where I caught it on cable.
Yes, I get it.
And I kind of caught it the second time. I only watched half, and I kind of got into it a little bit. But it was so long ago.
The robot goes to a guy, and they put organs in him, and he becomes a human being.
Yes, which interesting. But it didn't have a soul. See, that's my thing.
But wait a minute. Why not?
Because a soul is a non-entity. It's energy. It's a spirit. You'd have to go into a robot. And I believe a soul could probably go into a robot's body. That's what I'm afraid of. A lot of these robots, if you believe in past lives, like I do, they'll start taking robots' bodies. And now the robots will have souls. That might be a movie, but because really the soul is what we're just robots with a soul. We're mechanical, we're biological, but we have lung, heart, thing. But what makes us is the soul.
I don't know if that's, I don't know. RoboCop was a cyborg, but the Bicentennial Man was just, God rest his soul. That must have been a big payday for him.
I'm sure it was.
That was a bad movie. You're right. Call the medic. You're right.
Yeah, I keep inhaling wrong.
Short Circuit was another good movie. That guy Daron Kim is very on it tonight.
Yeah, Short Circuit was very good.
That was a good movie. What was the guy in it? Fisher Stevens and Steve Guttenberg. Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah, you're right.
The nicest guy on the planet. Period. Did you know Steve Guttenberg at all?
I didn't. But you've mentioned that before, that you really like.
Interesting story about him. I don't want to tell the story.
Don't tell that one. We already.
I think he broke into Paramount and set up an office for himself.
Oh, really?
Before he was anyway, started making phone calls and stuff. Yeah, something like that.
So did Spielberg.
So
that's a true story. He found a blank office, and he hung out. From everybody. He said yes. he used to sneak in, go into the sound stages at Universal before he was hired by Scheinberg, and he found an office with a phone, and yeah.
I had no idea.
You know, I snuck into Universal.
David Price just came on.
Really?
Yeah. You snuck into something, Mark?
I snuck in, and I remember going into a soundstage. You could sneak in through the truck gate. This was in the 70s, early 70s. I hadn't been in the business. And I went to McMillan and Wife. I waited for the light to go off. I opened the soundstage. I walked in, very quiet. And the crew just thought it was somebody's kid, you know, because I was on the lot. And I watched Rock Hudson and the other guy, Chuck, do a scene in McMillan and Wife. And I just sat there and watched it, shooting. And then I was there for like a half hour. Then I walked out, and I was walking around the back of the lot, and the guard came and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he told me to leave.
Did you start to cry?
You get in. What's that?
Did you start to cry when that happened?
Yes. Yes, I did. No, I literally ended up working at Universal for 5 years on and on.
McMillan and Wife.
McMillan and Wife.
David Price's dad's studio.
David Price's dad, I think, was the head of television at that time. Yeah, if I knew David, I could have just called David and said, "Tell your dad not to throw me off."
All right. All right. Last topic. I don't know why. I was talking to somebody. Somebody brought up blind date.
Oh,
ever been on a blind date?
You know, I had one. It wasn't a blind date, but I had a good friend that was married, and he asked me to have dinner with him. So I went, and he had brought his sister with him, and I just figured, you know, I didn't get it. And then after, when I left, it dawned on me that he was trying to set me up with his sister, and I didn't figure it out during the dinner. I just figured, hey, his sister's here. That's nice. And
I never had
you, George.
you know, it takes me like 6 months to know somebody before I even ask them out. So I never would like get set up on dates. But I did have an ex-girlfriend. And you guys know this girl who was a girlfriend of mine for about 5 years. She said it was just before Christmas, and she said she's not doing anything. This girl Denise, you should take her to dinner on Christmas, because I wasn't doing anything. I was alone. You should take her to dinner. And I said, well, what does she look like? She goes, no, she's cute, whatever. So I called her, and she said, yeah, I'll come by. And she came by, and I ended up living with her for 5 years. So that technically was a blind date from my ex-girlfriend.
You should have married her. She was great.
I should have married her.
She was sweet. She put up with you.
She moved to Ohio to get away from me. But no, we still talk. I mean, we shared cats together. And yeah, if she ever comes back to LA, I'll look her up.
So Joy Long had been on 2 blind dates. They were both great. Well, how could they? Why would you have another blind date if the first blind date was great?
Who said that?
Joy Long was on there. So she had 2 blind dates. They were great. But if they were both great, why would she have a second blind date?
Well, she compared the 2 and then probably took the best one.
Oh, I was on a blind date in 04. We walked right past the booth of Scott Baio and some dude. Jerry's on Ventura Boulevard.
Oh, yeah, you probably went there. I used to go there.
Scott and some dude. Jerry's is gone, I think.
Yeah, it was near Balboa, right? Near Havenhurst. That Jerry's.
No, Studio City.
Oh, the Studio City. The one in Encino we used to hang.
That was a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah. George, you ever set up anybody on a blind date?
I tried to set my brother up once or twice, but one time he didn't show up.
Yeah, that's not good.
I know.
Your brother didn't show up?
Yeah, he never showed up. I was sitting there with my wife at the time, and the woman that had set him up with.
Why didn't he show up?
He was, I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, now, Scott, were you ever set up on a blind date?
I don't remember one.
I mean, maybe an actress that you knew but you'd never met, and somebody said you should go out with, Marilyn Monroe or something, and then did you do it?
I was set up with somebody, but they were famous, so it wasn't really a blind date.
Well, it was if you were set up and you hadn't met them.
No, I knew who they were setting me up with. But I guess
if you never talked to them, that's when you go sit at the table, and that's
honestly, I wish I could remember. I don't remember ever having I don't remember ever having a blind date. I would tell you, I just don't remember.
Well, when you have hit television shows, I guess it's a different, you know.
I'm sure I've been on one. I'm sure I've set up people on blind dates. Have you ever set anybody up? You set your brother up, George.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Mark, did you ever set
I never set anybody up.
Somebody said,
Nobody would trust me.
Josh Ryan. Is that the Josh Ryan?
Yeah.
How about an actual
Mine comes
blind
late.
date?
Things come late.
Man, I miss Josh Ryan.
Yeah, you don't smoke with us
Did you
anymore.
go on a blind date with one of the people from Friends? A lunch?
Oh, yes.
Me?
No, Lisa Kudrow.
Really?
Didn't I tell you the story?
No.
It was before she was obviously on Friends. And I knew one of my friends was dating her sister, her older sister. And they said, you should go out with my sister, the girl, her sister. I don't want to say names, but that doesn't matter. And we went somewhere in Encino. She was in the Groundlings. She wanted to be an actress, and I think I was either writing animation or something. I don't know, but I met her. It was literally, yes, it was a blind date that her Lisa Kudrow's sister set up, and she had short black hair at the time.
Really?
And I guess I could say this because obviously I could not get her to laugh. I thought I was a pretty funny guy. I tried everything. I did jokes. She was very quiet. I think she just hated me and probably will never forgive her sister. But we had a dinner, and I thought she was very quiet and not funny and didn't really react. And I came back to my friend who was dating her sister, and I said, "Don't ever set me up again." And then, of course, 10, 12 years later, she got on Friends.
Okay.
So I doubt Lisa even remembers it, except she might and probably hates me.
So,
That is true.
Okay, great. I didn't date Brooke Shields. I was friends with Brooke Shields, and I didn't date Valerie Bertinelli. I just knew Valerie.
How did you got this? This is a serious
Hey,
question.
Daron is killing. I'm going to set you up with Gallagher.
Yes, that I used to look like Gallagher with the hat and the hair and the mustache.
But no, I didn't go out with those two. I was very
Yeah.
friendly with Brooke from a long time ago.
Yeah, she's good. Did you just, when you went on dates, I mean, you just went out and people knew who you were, and so you went out. So I guess it was a different thing for you.
Yep, pretty much went out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. That's a great question. Yeah, pretty much went out and people knew who I was.
I like vicariously through you.
Jeffrey Hemphill asked Jodie Foster. No, I didn't date Jodie, but when we were doing Bugsy Malone in England, she and I used to make out in the hallways of the hotel late at night.
Really?
That was about our dating experience. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, she was cool. I liked her a lot, but
You both had rooms and you made out in the hallway.
Yes, they were kids.
Oh, that's right.
my mom was with me, and her mom was with it. Jodie was I was like 14 or something. She was like 13.
Yeah.
And the parent, her mom and my mom were her mother, Brandy. Her mother, Brandy. She was a piece of work, man. She was funny as hell. Wow.
Did you meet Michael Jackson? Someone wants to know. I think you knew him.
I knew Michael from way back.
Yeah. Didn't the monkey try to bite you in the trailer? No, tell that story. It's a great story.
I'll end it with this story. Do you think it's easier to date someone in the entertainment industry or someone who is not? Galilee. That's a good. I'll tell the story in a minute. It's good. Both, because if you date somebody in the business, they understand it. But you're also dealing with outside elements and time, and there are jealousies and things like that. And somebody who's not in the business, they don't know anything about the business. So you just got to get somebody that that's a good question. Were you ever on a date with? You were never on a date with Marie McCormick? No. What was the story I was going to tell?
Michael Jackson, the monkey who bit you in the trailer.
So I was doing Charles in Charge, and right across the street, Michael Jackson was doing a commercial for sneakers or something. and his motorhome was there. And so I had known Michael years before that. And so I just went and knocked on his trailer, and door opens up, and there's this big dude. He says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Can you just tell Michael that Scott's here?" And blah, blah. He said, "Good." And I hear Michael, "Oh, let him in, let him in." So I go in and sit down, and there's a guy cooking and some woman, I don't know who she was. And I sit on the couch, and Michael's standing and talking to him, and the monkey comes out. And I'm sitting like this, and the monkey's here, Michael's here, and the monkey has my hand. And he's like gnawing on it. But he's not hurting me. He's just like, and I keep pulling, it's a spit all over my hand. He keeps taking it. And I'm like, God, just get, and he's trying to put my leg, and he pulls my arm. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it back. And I'm talking to Michael and this and that. And I said, "Michael, can you fix the monkey?" And he walks over and smacks the monkey on the back of the head, and the monkey goes flying out the room. I went, "Whoa!" He said, "Nah, you got to treat him kind of rough." I said, "Apparently, anyway, it was good to see you, Michael," and that's pretty much the story. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. And again, if you have any comments, please, or any story, any ideas you want to, any question you want to ask, whatever you want to know about, maybe we'll just do one episode whenever we get enough questions. Just throw a question, email us a question. Thank you, Karen Ann. Just email us a question, and we'll just answer. You could ask Mark a question, you could ask George a question, and we'll just answer questions.
No questions for me. I refuse. No questions.
No questions for George. George is too busy.
We only have time for 2 questions to George.
Yeah, George is the great and powerful Oz back there, pulling all the levers and switches and everything. But seriously, if you have any topics, happy to talk about it. We do this for fun, and God bless all of you, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yes. Good night.
Bye-bye. See you.
See up my nose with the